Hello there, everybody. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally I talk about video games on here. I don't feel like doing that today, so we are going to talk about something else. So my goal today is to try and put you onto some media that maybe you haven't watched or even heard of. So I've picked out a couple of great television shows, musical artists, and movies that I think other people should check out and stuff that I really like. I'll have chapters on if you want to skip to a certain section. Go crazy. Let's just get right into it. Oh, and subscribe. So first we're going to look at some great TV, starting with Severance. Severance is one of those things that you hear about for a really long time, at least it was for me, and then when you watch it, you just want to beat yourself up over it because it's just so good, and you feel bad that you took so long to finally watch it. So the show follows a man named Mark, who at the beginning of the show receives a promotion at his company called Lumen, a company that surgically severs the work and personal lives of their employees. Colloquially in the show, the work versions are called innies, and the personal, normal people are called outies. And essentially, the innies don't know anything of their outside lives. They don't remember their childhood. They don't know anything about their family. They don't even know of their children, if they have any. In a similar vein, the outies have no idea what goes on inside of work. They don't know anything about what they do. They don't know anything about their coworkers. If they have feelings or emotions for another coworker, they have no idea. And so basically, it's two different people inhabiting the same body. When they enter the building, a switch just sort of flips, and the innie version takes over, at which point they lose all memory of anything happening outside of work. As the employees at Lumen begin to search for the truth of both their jobs and their lives, the line between the two realities begin to blur. Only a few times has a show so thoroughly lived up to my expectations. I'm actually struggling to think of one right now. I have not stopped thinking about Severance since I finished its last episode a couple of months ago at this point, and I actually just started rewatching it yesterday in preparation for season 2, which we'll talk about briefly in a minute. This is one of the most subversive, emotional, and downright impactful pieces of media that I've seen, and I really can't recommend it enough. There's a reason I put it first. The mystery and sheer creativity of it alone would be enough for most people, but it's so well written that the humor is interjected really well to break up a lot of its more tense moments, since the show is at times pretty heavy. This is my number one recommendation for the whole video. If there's anything I want you to take away from this, watch Severance. Maybe I'll talk about it in the future again when season 2 comes out, but I don't know. That's not really what I do here, so we'll see. Severance pretty much has it all. It's funny, it's genuinely terrifying, it's shot beautifully, and all of its elements are sold so well because of the incredible performances between the whole cast. Specifically, Adam Scott is the standout as the lead, but everyone does a great job. Again, the second season is coming up. It premieres mid-January, and I'd love to have people to discuss it with. And you've got a couple of good months to catch up, so yeah. Now we have Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a spy dramedy that premiered earlier this year. As you probably know, or you might be a little familiar with it, there's actually a movie from 2005 of the same name, starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and that movie is fine. It's okay. But this show is much better. It's a reimagining of sorts. They're both very different things, but it is a reimagining with the same basic concept, but it does a fantastic job of being its own thing entirely. And especially if you're expecting something of the quality of that movie, this will probably blow you away. The show was created by Donald Glover and Francesca Sloan, and it follows two characters named Jane and John, who suddenly enter into a partnership of sorts into the world of spies, of espionage. This is not an action show. A lot of the episodes, pretty much all of them, actually have a lot of great action in them, but that's not the point. And so I think when you look up the reviews for the show, and a lot of them aren't very good, that is probably the primary reason of it, because that was sort of the focus in the first movie, and in the movie, it's not a sequel or anything, but since this is sort of the same concept and it shares a title with it, I think a lot of people are going to be expecting constant action and just sort of mindless events happening. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the show, this one right now, is a rather slow burn, character-driven story about relationship and understanding, which is pulled off wonderfully because of the chemistry between Donald Glover and the other lead, Maya Erskine. Maya Erskine, it's one of the two. The show by nature is unbelievably tense as we watch the escapades these two are sent on. Oftentimes are very absurd, all while it gives us a stylish visual feast, because damn, this show looks good. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this one, even around the time it came out earlier this year, and I hope you give it a chance because you'll probably like it. It's actually very, very good, and it will probably catch you by surprise. Lastly for TV, I thought I'd end it off with something a bit more lighthearted, and that's with Nathan For You. Nathan For You premiered in 2013, and there's a very, very solid chance that you've either seen the show or you've unknowingly seen a skit from it.
And here we go. I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Because it is rather popular, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's some underground masterpiece. But if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to stand by and let that continue. Nathan For You is truly one of a kind. It's one of the funniest, most outlandish things that I've ever watched. It's a show that you watch before bed and then you wake up in the morning wondering if it actually happened. It's a show that you'll quote to a friend or you'll recount an episode or something and they legitimately will not believe you. The basic premise is that Nathan Fielder, the show's lead, travels around trying to save failing businesses, and it's supposed to be a play on a reality show type of thing, and there's been a lot of debate as to how much of it is real, but you know, what's new there? But he does this with these ideas that should put him in jail, often literally. It ran for, I think, 4 seasons, off the top of my head, I could be wrong, and all of it is just so good. Coupled with Fielder's signature brand of awkward, absurdist humor, Nathan For You is a timeless comedy, and it's one that I will never stop telling people to watch. So now I've picked out some music for you, and I would consider my taste in music pretty diverse. I tend to lean more alternative, but I really just listen to whatever I think sounds good, so hopefully there will be something here for you. I would like to preface pretty much this entire section by saying that I'm not well versed in the technical side of music. I played clarinet in 3rd grade. I took a couple of chorus classes in high school, but I don't know anything about music theory. I don't know how to play an instrument currently, so rather than going super deep into what makes it good from the technical side of music, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the artist, play a small snippet at the risk of getting executed by UMG for copyright. I try to pick out artists that I listen to that have almost no listeners on Spotify. I could sit here and tell you to listen to some of the most recognizable bands of all time, like The Doors or fucking 9 Inch Nails or I don't know, Queen, who are all really good, by the way. But that's not the point of this, you know? So my first recommendation is King of Bats, an alternative artist with just one album out right now.
Fear is not you, it's a thought.
People like King of Bats always make me a little sad because it reminds me how many talented people sort of fall by the wayside because they just got unlucky. Because at the end of the day, every creative industry, whether it's what I'm doing here on YouTube or making music, video production, whatever it is all very luck-based. You have to get lucky. No matter what anyone says, you have to get lucky to succeed, and that sucks. King of Bats combines elements of R&B, jazz, pop, and there's even a song on here that's sort of punk rock-ish.
Never-ending dreams. Please.
The album is very eclectic. There's a lot of variety, and it's just a very fun listen from start to finish. From the excellent guitar work, vocal performances, and use of synth, the vibe is just, it's so there. The vibe is so good, and I really think that King of Bats deserves his chance in the spotlight. Following KOB is another very small artist named Yambi Sings. There's a decent chance you've heard of another band called Roar, or maybe even know some of their songs. They did well on TikTok for a little while. Well, Yambi Sings is the independent project of the wife of Roar's leading member. And if you like Roar or you know some of their songs, her sound is going to be pretty familiar. It's a very similar brand of like dreamy art pop, if that makes sense. I stole that right from Roar's Instagram bio, actually. And you know what? Maybe hearing it will help here. She puts a very unique focus on melodies that can be interpreted as either like playful or sinister, and she toes the line between those two moods really, really well, and I think she does a great job in general. She's very good. Yambi only has 10 songs out right now, at least at the time of recording this, and I want more. So give her a listen. Give her another reason to make more music for me, if anything. Next up is a band from the late 60s called Motherlode. They're classified, if you look it up, as pop rock. They have elements of old pop rock, sure, but not the way we think of it today. I would say the way we view music, I mean, there's so many genres now, but the way we see it today, I'd say they're probably closer to either like a folk or a soul group. As far as I'm aware, they only have 2 albums, which I found, and my camera died. So that's fantastic. As far as I'm aware, they only have 2 albums. You know, with some older bands, some stuff doesn't get tossed on Spotify. It gets lost or just doesn't make it on there because they don't really have any active members. So it's just whoever puts it on there, and maybe they miss stuff. But this is my favorite song of theirs. I don't have a whole lot to say here. I just really love their sound and their voices. And I think you should give them a listen, except for Never Let Bitch Know. This like shitty funk song that I imagine got tagged onto their Spotify last year by accident, because it's completely different to what they make. So I can only assume this was a mistake. Next up, we have Jigsaw Youth, an all-female punk/grunge band from New York. I actually saw these girls in concert last year. They opened up for another band I like, which is how I found them, actually, and they were phenomenal. They won't be for a lot of people, but they might be for some. They're a bit heavier, and so naturally I know that's not a lot of people's thing. Their lead singer is phenomenal. She puts out this really unique vocal performance that I think a lot of female singers don't really do, but she's not the only one, okay? Their guitarist and drummer are also just both so good, and I know I say this a lot, but I wish I knew more about music so I could tell you a bit more about the music itself. Here's one of their songs. Jigsaw Youth, in my opinion, has not missed yet. They have a great energy, and their music just sounds great. So if this is your thing, please check them out. For my last music recommendation, I have another old band called Little Nemo. Little Nemo is a French rock band from the late 70s and 80s. These guys are attributed as a big part of the touching pop movement. I'm going to just read off what I have here. It was sort of like an extension of Cold Wave, which was an early integration of like minimal electronic instruments like synth. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an art historian or a musician, so that's just my understanding of it. You wouldn't be able to tell from their Spotify listeners, but from what I could glean, it seems like they were at some point fairly popular. But if you're into older, like goth music, or what you've heard sounds interesting, please give them a listen. Finally, before we end this off, I have a couple of films for you. The few I've chosen are more horror-ish than anything, because this video was supposed to come out around Halloween. My mistake, you know, it's not the first time that's happened, and it certainly will not be the last. But anyways, the first one I have for you is The Void. There are many great examples of Lovecraftian horror out there, and The Void is probably not the best one, but it is one of my favorites, despite its many flaws. The film follows an officer named Daniel Carter who's out in a small town, just out on a patrol, and he finds a bloodied man. Upon taking that man to a nearby hospital, the building is surrounded by a horde of hooded figures. Now, if you look up reviews for this, you might find a lot of people saying it's derivative of better films, it's hardly original, the acting is kind of bad, and you know what? Maybe those things are kind of true. The story is just alright, it pretty much just serves as a background for the horror that you're watching unfold, but it works. And while, yes, the film is fairly easy to pick apart and dissect, there's some great stuff here. The atmosphere is off the charts. It's, perfect. This movie is fucking miserable. It's hopeless. It's downright despicable, and I live for that shit, okay? The special effects are amazing, easily contending the best examples from both modern and classic horror, like The Thing, for example. It's also disgusting and dynamic, and the same can be said about like the costumes and the sets as well. Everything just feels so alive. It's very good. It's very good. It's not the best horror movie you'll see. It's probably not even the best horror movie you'll see this year. But in my opinion, it's absolutely worth a watch for the concept and the unique visuals alone. Next is Coherence. This one isn't explicitly horror, it's more of like a science fiction thriller. So in Coherence, 8 friends gather for a dinner party, assumed they haven't really seen each other for a long time. And at this dinner party, a comet passes close by Earth and a bunch of weird stuff starts happening, basically. That's the setup. Much like The Void, this movie was made with an impressively low amount of money, but it doesn't hold it back much at all. The performances are incredible, and the story's events are mind-bending, and it's very similar in a way to Primer, with, again, looking sort of cheap, so to speak, and it's like Primer, one of those movies that won't make sense on your first watch, or your second watch, or your third watch, or your fourth watch, or your fifth. This is a pretty slow burn film. It doesn't have a big bombastic finish with CGI or action, and a lot of people might be underwhelmed by it, but it's one that will make you think, maybe a little too much. So if you're looking for something like that, you'll probably love Coherence. Now, the last recommendation I have for you is The Invitation. Compared to everything else we've seen, The Invitation is a wonderfully simplistic film. This one follows Will, a man who's been invited to a dinner party by his ex-wife and her new husband, or boyfriend? I don't remember. As the night progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that their two hosts have something sinister planned for them and all of the other guests at the party. The Invitation isn't defining any industry standards. It's not going to be breaking any ground for most people. It's somewhat predictable, except for its great ending, which I won't tell you about, but it's very good. But that predictability doesn't detract from what makes it great. But while it is sort of predictable and you will probably have an idea of where it's going, it makes a lot of decisions that will make you wonder if you're completely wrong altogether or just a little bit off. And the ending as well throws a pretty sizable wrench in that. The performances are incredible. The performances are great, the film looks amazing, and the film is a masterclass in building tension. It might not be perfect, and it takes a minute to get going, but The Invitation is a really, really fun watch with a great payoff. Before we get into the outro, I have 2 more quick suggestions. Within the past week, I saw Anora and Heretic, both of which were amazing. I really, really, really enjoyed both of them. One of them was a little bit better than the other, but great films. Go see them in theaters if you can while they're still out. Great experiences. And I think that's everything. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. It means a lot. It helps out more than most people realize, I think. And if there's anything you'd like me to give a watch or listen, please let me know in the comments. If you're looking for more suggestions, just tell me what you like. I'll respond best I can. And of course, if you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe. I had a lot of fun making this. It was a bit different to what I usually do, so I enjoyed it. But as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful night, and I'll catch you in the next one.